Well, I hope the notice has gone out. We're expecting people in. Who is the early bird today? Who is going to be the first person to appear, to be appreciated? Shegun Fatuma. Wow, you are doing something right, Shegun. Flair Karim Matip, Paris. Blessings. Basil, Gloria, Damilare, Taku, Bobo, Lola Shurunka is here, Victor Gudikwe, Ludovic, Karen, Michelle, Emmanuel Bello. Blessings, all of you. Welcome, welcome. Who is that? That writing something big, rather big. Abikosh. Good evening, my humble pastor. As we continue to learn from you that modern day slaveries are not in chains, they are in debt under the servitude of the world class system, so-called Uncle Sam. May the Lord deliver us all and make a way of escape for us through these powerful teachings. Amen. I agree with you. Okay, let me greet some other people. You see, Yosef, Grace, Mark, Shalandra, Samuel, Folashade, Tente. Please, can we go ahead and share the link? Please, I want to appeal to you to go share the link. Let's go share the link so that we'll be able to invite, and you'll be able to have the video by yourself and on your wall, and you'll be able to invite some people as well to join us. So if you want to have this video, you want to go and share it right now, go back to your timeline and press the share button before we start. So I will still have a minute or two before we start because I will be greeting people. So while we do that, please go ahead and share. Go to your timeline and share the link, okay? Omotayo is saying hi. Juliet Aga, who is this? Valorice Williams. Adebayo is here. Kolade is here. Joel Ayobami is here. Noah Folarin is here. Sufyan Damilola is here. Esther is here. Eden is here. Noah is here. Mayowa is here. Victor is here. Adeda Mola is here. Adeleke is here as well. Oshuko is here. Adesuye is here. Shalandra Loho Henry. Oluwaba Miwo is here. Ija is here. Museum Ernest Samuel Fumi Jake Titus. Right. Papa Akashuku is here. Melody is here. Yetunde is here. Rindy Maria Barabash Privet. Dorothy is here. Pauletta is here. Gloria is here. Christy is here. Sheun Akimusi. Venera Ahmed Janova. Благословение из Санкт-Петербурга. Спасибо, Venera. Marquez is here. Muji Shola is here. Henry is here. Okay, well, Tiger is there. I could see Tiger. Yeah, Moji Sola, Babatunde as well, Rudy. Well, welcome everybody. We have a full house today, and right now I want to talk to you about. I wanted to talk about the law of money, but I think I should prepare you more before I go to the law of money. Before I do that, so let's talk today about tonight about the topic of today. Stop spending money that you don't have. Stop spending money that you don't have to buy what you don't need, to impress those who don't care. Do you like that topic? What do you feel about that topic? Stop spending the money you don't have to buy what you don't need, to impress those who don't really care about you at the end of the day. They don't care about you. They don't care about you. You think they care? You think they care about you? Not really. Not really. That's your fantasy. That's what you are thinking in your head. That's just your thought. It might not really be true that they care so much about you. You think everybody is standing in their house and the only thing they can do is to think about you? No, no, no. That's not the way the world works. That's not the way the world works. The world doesn't work like that. This life is so much more complex than that. Nobody really cares about you. Maybe they will laugh at you for 2 minutes or 5 minutes, but they don't really care about you. They don't really care about you. They don't really care about you. So we're going to deal with this topic today. Stop spending the money that you don't have. Stop spending the money you don't have to buy what you don't need. At the end of the day, most of the things we buy, after some years, we discover that we don't really need them after all. We don't really need most of them after all. And then, don't spend them to impress somebody who doesn't really care who you are and who doesn't give a damn for you. I'm sorry. Well, so this message is going to be divided into 3 parts. 10 points each. So 10 points on don't spend money that you don't have. 10 points on don't buy things that you don't need. And 10 points on stop impressing people who don't care. So 30 points again today. God help me. All right. So Father, in Jesus' name, bless this message. Bless this message. Bless this message. Bless everybody there in Jesus' name. Okay, so how do we spend the money that we don't have? How do we spend money that we don't have? It's very clear how we spend money that we don't have. You know you've not earned. And we all know how we spend money that we have not earned. So number 1 point, how we spend what we don't have. We all know. We all know how we spend money we don't have. And there is no one of you that is innocent. There is no one of, maybe there are a few of you, but very few people who say they have never borrowed the money before, or they have never taken money from people to use it or spend it on themselves. So very many of us, it's such a practice. It's a popular practice in our world. All over the world. It doesn't matter where you go. It doesn't matter what country you go to. You know, people are having bad habits. And this bad habit is what is coming out of the wrong, philosophy of life that people have. It's coming from the wrong value system that people have. So borrowing is a wrong value system. Yes, there are some times when you could borrow, and you could borrow for good. You could borrow sometimes, for business. If you are going to borrow to buy assets, and that is going to generate much more capital than maybe at least 3-4 times than what you are borrowing, then it might be worth it. That is what we call good debt. Good debt. But we're not going to be talking about the good debt right now. But borrowing generally, the kind of borrowing that ordinary people do is not a healthy one. Because we borrow from our neighbors, we borrow from we borrow from our relatives, we borrow from our friends, we borrow from our best friends, and then we spoil relationships and things like that. That just happens all the time. That's just the way we live. And that is coming from our world system, the world system around us, and the cultural values around us. The wrong value system that says if you need something, go become a headache to somebody else. Go and become a burden to another person. It's another thing if you are borrowing, like I said, as a good debt to make more money for the person and for yourself. That is totally different. That is a different kind of borrowing, but we are not going to be talking about that today. But, the kind of borrowing that I'm talking about is the consumption borrowing that is normally what we use to for liabilities, to eat, to meet our needs and things like that. So we all know how we do that. Number two point, most of us spend what we don't have, and that spending what we don't have starts. By the way, let me tell you a joke. Some people have been telling me that these topics that I'm talking about this week has been very sensational, and that some people will not like it. You guess what? Let me tell you a joke. You will not believe what is happening. Actually, people are writing me to my inbox to threaten me and said, mind your own business. Why? Stop talking about this topic. Mind your business. If you don't mind your business, we are going to show you. We are going to stop you. We are going to, do this and that to you. Stop talking. Quit talking about this topic. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Some people don't like. I know Satan doesn't like it, but I didn't know that there are some individuals who will not like what I'm doing. Right? I'm trying to set people free, and some people are angry. They are threatening to do something, to do this and to do that. But they don't know they don't know they are confronting. They don't know who they're having business with. I'm not a newcomer in this business. I'm not a newcomer. I've been a troublemaker all my life. Especially since I became a pastor. You ask them in Russia, I've been in trouble all over Russia. Everybody knows me. They know I'm a troublemaker. So I'm not the kind that will back out from a fight. I like to fight. I like to fight. So those people who are saying they are going to kill me, they are going to eliminate me, they are going to stop me, I should stop talking on these topics, they don't know who they are dealing with. I'm an old general. Old general don't die easily. They don't die easily. So I am getting some letters about that. Can you believe it? That's why I needed to get letters from you that have been blessed to let me know that you have been blessed. Then I know it's worth it, you say. Okay, all right, don't worry about that. Don't worry. I just thought I should share that with you. Maybe some of you, somebody was writing yesterday, please pray for Pastor Sunday. Yesterday, I think, not 2 days ago, yesterday was a pray for Pastor Sunday and spread the word. Now you have prayer needs right now. All right, well, I just remember that. Otherwise, I forgot. It started yesterday. I forgot to tell you. Well, so what am I saying here? Yeah, so how does it start? Some people say we don't really borrow. I don't borrow. But you know what happens? What happens sometimes is that when we spend money that we don't have, not just when we borrow, but we also spend money that we don't have when we keep on daydreaming, when we keep on dreaming about things that we are not qualified to have yet. Now, let me explain this a little bit. There are some things that we are all dreaming of having, but really, you know that you have not put anything in place to make sure you don't have anything working for you to make sure that money comes into your pocket. You don't have that money in your pocket, and you have not set up a process in place. You have not set up a mechanism that will make the money for you, that will fetch the money for you. I understand if you already have the money in your pocket, then you could be dreaming about getting that house or getting that in the car or getting that plane or getting that dress or going to that school or going to that college. If you have the money in your pocket, then that is okay. But when you don't have the money in your pocket yet, just because it's a good idea that, it would have been nice to live in that kind of a house, and then you are already dreaming, you're already thinking about, how it will be good to live in that kind of a house. Well, that even by dreaming about it, even by doing that mental exercise, you are already spending, my dear. You are already spending the money you've not made. You are already spending the money you have not made. So as a result of that kind of a dream, what ends up happening is you find yourself looking for means and avenues to make that money. You are looking for any opportunity that they will give you so that you go and work, and that way you go and compromise yourself, you go and sell yourself into some job, and you go and just lose your freedom, you go and lose your liberty just because you have this dream that this thing you are dreaming of getting. Or or in some other cases, you go and do something worse, go and borrow, but we are still going to talk about that. So how do we spend money that we don't have? We spend the money that we don't have when we begin to dream about things that we have not made money for. Or even if you have not made money for it, sometimes I could assume that, okay, you've not made the money, but you have investments working for you, or you have some money on the way, you have some assets somewhere that gives you the right to dream about what you are dreaming about. So what I'm saying is that whenever we dream about things that we are not qualified to have, that means that we are already spending our dream what we don't really qualify to have. Number 3, what we have not made. We are spending money on what we have not made. So that is how we spend money that we don't have to buy things that we don't need to impress people that don't really care. Number 3 point, the slavery of the mind and the dependency, the dependency we are talking about, and the slavery of the mind and dependency on material things, they start in our mind. Do you know there is what they call that? There is a book and a film, I think, that was so popular a few years ago. They call it Secret, The Secret or something. And that secret, that film and that book is all talking about you imagining things and the power of the thought, and that you should just imagine and then do affirmation and, and dream about it. You dream that you have a yacht. You are dreaming that you have a house, a big house, that you are living beside the river, beside the ocean, and that you have all this money coming, and that whatever you dream about will be attracted to you, and especially if you are pronouncing it and you are confessing it and you are doing affirmation. There are some charismatics that do that as well. But I think some of the charismatics have practiced that enough to know that it doesn't work. Not too many believers are still doing that now, but I'm sure there are still people who are doing that. They are confessing that my car is coming or my money is coming. And there was even a guy in America that wrote a book, Money Comment, they call it. I think he has removed that book from the market, I guess, because it's no more. He used to do a conference called Money Comment. I think money is no more coming after himself ran into bankruptcy, I guess. But that's just what people are doing, some silly stuff. We use the name of God to do all kind of things, you say, without any basis for it. If you are confessing, like for example, I know that I'm going to become a billionaire, but I am saying that I'm going to become a billionaire because I have basis for it. It's not just confession. Even if I'm now confessing it, I'm confessing it because it is tangible. I know the tangible things that I'm doing for that to happen, because faith is a substance of things that you have not seen. I have a substance to what I'm confessing. So I'm not just confessing because I know if I confess it will come to me. That is so easy. Oh wow! If it's as easy, wow, let's all begin to confess. I tell you, wow, why not? Let's all just stand up, sleeping, lie in bed and begin to confess that, oh, my yacht is coming. Hallelujah. My hotel is waiting for me there. My Mercedes Benz is waiting for me. My Rolls Royce is on the way. I'm going to have a 40-story building right there for me, waiting for me in my office. Why is that not working for everybody? That would have been so easy, I guess. But it is lust and it is deception that makes people to believe in that kind of rubbish. And that whatever you call it, that secret film, it had a lot of well-placed, famous people who are saying this, but they don't tell you what they really do. So even though they are now famous and they are successful, but it is not because they lie down in bed dreaming that the success came to them. They became successful because they went out to do the job and they know some secrets that they are not sharing with you. So we become lustful and we become greedy and we spend money that we don't have when we begin to, imagine that in our mind that, we need this thing, we want this thing, when we have not put mechanism and machinery in place to make that kind of money. When we don't have, mechanism and machinery to make that kind of money, we shouldn't be talking about it. Go work for it first. Go prove that go sign the contract at least. Go work for it. Go make the money, and at least pave the way for the money to come before you begin to go about and be spending the money that you have not made. So that is the tragedy of life. We spend the money that we have not made to buy things that we don't really need, to impress people that don't really care. So the first part is, how do we spend money? We all know the way we spend money that we have not really made, and that's what the first part of it that I'm talking about. It starts in our mental. It starts in our mind. It's a mental process that starts in our mind. And then in your mind you become dependent. You become you become bound. You enter into bondage of your mind, dreaming about things you don't have, and that develops in you covetousness, and you begin to covet what other people have, what you don't deserve, what you have not qualified for. So it's not a very healthy thing to be spending money. Sometimes it's even good. It's even one thing for you to spend money that you don't have, but some people even spend other people's money. We are spending the money of your uncle, you are spending the money of your father, you are spending the money of your mother, the money of your family. You are, at least in your mind, So that's another problem right there. Number 4. When we begin to lust and dream after things that we do not deserve, we are, enslaving ourselves. We are enslaving ourselves. It's a slave process. It's a slave process that will end you into trouble. That is how some people have forged documents. That is how people have done white collar, robbery and stealing, and that will give you can end you in prison. So many people are in prison today because they are dreaming about spending the money they have not made. They have not, they are dreaming and converting about making use of things and properties that they have not really worked for, that they have not qualified for. And whatever you are dreaming of right now, I just want to throw you a question and a challenge. Whatever you are dreaming of right now, are you sure that you have really qualified for it? Are you sure that you have worked enough for it? Are you sure that you have made that money? Or are you sure that you have set the process in motion for the money to come to you? If you have not set the process in motion, don't live in illusion. I know that there is a lot of pastors, some of them are my friends, by the way. They call them faith preachers. And those faith preachers will be telling you, believe, confess it will come, believe God for a house, believe God. But at the end of the message, you know what they normally tell you? You have to bring some offering, my friend. You've got to bring some offering, my friend. You've got to bring some offerings. Even though they are the faith preachers that tell you that you believe and this will come, that will come, but at the end of the day, they are asking you for money. Why can't they believe God for money? What's happening to their faith? Why should they be asking you to believe and they cannot use their own faith to believe? I even know some other people who come on television, they call themselves faith preachers as well. They come on television and be asking for offering, or on internet and be asking for offering. If you don't give us money for this program will be closed down. We will not be able to come out again. But if you give us money, God will give you 100-fold. Why don't you give yourself money so that God will give you 100-fold? Huh? Why don't you use that same principle on yourself? Why should you allow your program to close on TV when we needed to depend on the poor people who are watching you? Huh? Why do you need other people's $10 and $20 or $100? What's wrong with your faith? Are you not the one trying to tell them to give to you? If they give to you, God blesses them. Why don't you give to yourself so that God will bless you? Why do you need other poor people's money? Huh? So all those kind of, fantasy and a lot of deception are going around, and people are using the name of God to do this. You can't believe it. People are using the name of God to do this. I mean, it's like they don't fear God at all. It's like they don't fear God. But, that's their problem. But I'm just trying to deliver you from those deceptions. Just trying to deliver you. Don't give your hard-earned money to some preachers who want to come on television. Let him sit down in his church and preach. If he wants to come on television, let him make the money. Let him make the money, all right? Let him make the money for himself. So when we begin to daydream like that, and we run into trouble. And preachers are using gullible people. So that's how people use money that they don't have. How could you go on television to get air time and you don't have the money? You are using money that you've not got. And then later on you are, appealing desperately to poor people to go and sponsor your greed. And sponsor and pay your lust, to pay for your lust. That is a typical example of people who, and they say they are walking by faith. What faith? Let faith give you money first before you spend it. Why should you say faith and then you are going to put the burden of that faith on poor people in the congregation? And you say it's faith. If it is faith, believe God, or maybe you will be. Sorry, okay, I will not talk about that. No, let me just talk about ordinary people. Otherwise, I'm going to get more letters coming to threaten me. I'm going to get more letters after this one. They're coming to threaten me again. Anyway, so the principle is number 5. The principle is very simple. If you have not made the money, or at least worked out the means of making the money, don't even begin to daydream about it in the name of faith. Don't begin to daydream about what you have not worked out for, what you have not worked for. Don't begin to pronounce it and say it is faith. Don't forget about that rubbish. It is deception. It is thievery. It is robbery. Daylight robbery. Don't begin to dream and call forth something that you have not deserved, you have not worked for, you have not made. If you have not made it, you have not worked for it, go work first. And then let God bless your work. God promises to bless the work of your hand. Let's see your work before God blesses you. If the principle is very simple. You check your heart. Check your heart. Are you sure you really deserve that thing? Where is the investment you have done for that thing to come to you? Where is the work you have done? Where is the work to make you qualify for that kind of a house or that kind of a car? But if you are believing God, okay, you believe God. But why should you make your belief become the burden of your mother? Why should you make your own faith to become the burden of your sister? Why should you make your faith to become the burden of your church member? Why should your neighbor become the one to run into trouble because you are believing faith? Why should you run to them? If you are believing, believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Don't manipulate people. Don't use people. And people of God for that matter. Anyway, like I said, I'm getting into more trouble every day. I'm putting myself into more trouble, you see? But I don't care. I'm an old soldier. Like I told you, I'm an old soldier. I must release that truth. I must tell the people the truth. So, number 6, why this idea of, trying to spend money that you have not made, but in the name of faith? I'm believing God for it. Will you give me money for that? I'm believing God. My money, will come. I'm still believing God to give me. Why this is dangerous is because once you begin to daydream, I even know some businessmen. I even know some business people that will tell, especially there are some, what do you call them? Network marketing people. Some of them, not all of them, but some of them do this. Some of them tell you, go and build, what they call it? They call it something there. I think they call it MAP. I think it's the map of your future or something. I think something like that they call it. They say go and if you go and get pictures of the kind of Mercedes car you want, and go and put that Mercedes car, go and put that picture in your room, so that and then every day you see that picture, you say this is my Mercedes Benz that I'm going to use. Then go and put the picture of the house that you need, the big house that you need. Go and put it there, be near your fridge, and so when you go to get food. Some people are master in manipulation. Some people are master in manipulation. Maybe there's a little bit of truth there. They call it vision board. Okay, vision board. All right, vision board. So they tell you to go and get a vision board. So you go and dream about things you have not qualified for, things you have not worked for. So they are developing ordinary, poor, innocent people. They are developing them greed. Just greed, pure greed. They are making you to be greedy. And we know what God says about greed. And they are making you to covet what you don't have. You are coveting what other rich people have. That is why you are going to the bondage of credit card. That's why you are going to the bondage of loan. That's why you are going to the bondage of borrowing. Because we want to spend money that we have not made. We want to spend money that we don't have. And you are listening to those kind of preachers. Some of them are preachers, I know. Some of them are preachers. And some of them are business people. I think what they're trying to do really is to make you, have faith for something, to have dream. I think they're trying to talk about goal setting. If you are setting goal, go work for the goal. Don't go borrow for it. Don't go take loan for it. Go work for it. Go labor for it. Why should I even be putting the picture everywhere if your work will give the result? Why do you need picture? You need result. I've never put any picture of anywhere. I've used, I don't know how many cars I've used in my life. I've used maybe 20 cars in my life, different kind of cars, from Mercedes to Range Rover to any kind of car, Mercedes Benz, Range Rover, all kind of car I've used. But I've never put any picture to go dream about it or to go get it. You just go and work for it. Simple. Go and work for it, and go and use the principle. Go and apply principles of truth, principles of money, principles of investment, laws of money. Go work. Go to work, my dear. Result is the only reflection of your labor. Result is the only reflection of your faith. If you really have faith, we'll see it by your result. We'll see it by your result. We don't see it by your manipulation. We see it by your result. It's not what you just dream about in your head that comes to pass. It's what you do in real life that brings the result, you see. I'm not against anybody. I'm not talking about any particular preacher or any particular business company. I'm just saying that, you shouldn't be so gullible. You shouldn't fall into those deception, okay? You shouldn't fall into those deception. Of course, if you want to daydream and imagine what you want to have, okay, mental exercise, a good mental exercise, maybe it's not bad, but you still have to go get it. You still have to go get it. You still have to go get it. You still have to go work for it, okay? Or you've got to make money work for it for you. You've got to put the laws in operation. That money will work for it. And I mean, you've got to have strategies. You've got to have plans. You've got to have things working for you. All right. Okay, let me just leave that alone. Some people will get mad at me now. What principle am I in now? Let me see. So the next principle, by the way, I don't know which one. So what this ends up doing for you is that once you have been dreaming like that with that vision board or whatever you call it, then you'll be looking for all kinds of ways. And the easiest way is for you to go and sell yourself into some business and be working there like a slave. You go and sell your liberty. You go and sell your resources. You go and sell your personality, your freedom, your calling, your destiny. You go and just bury yourself into that point and begin to work from morning to night. And that is how you become dependency and begin to work for Uncle Sam. Okay? But other people do worse things. Number 7, other people go to do what number 7 is going to talk about, to go and borrow. We go and borrow from our brothers. We go and borrow from our mothers, from our parents. We go and borrow from our friends. And we spoil precious relationship because of our greed. Because why are we borrowing? Any kind of borrowing is an attempt to spend money that you don't have. Like I said, there is good borrowing. There is good debt. The good borrowing or good debt is when you are borrowing for multiplication. When you are borrowing to buy assets. Assets that will bring more money to your pocket and to the person you are borrowing the money. That's why banks take interest. So but that is just half of the truth. When you are borrowing, let's say for example, the golden rule in borrowing is this. If the good borrowing is, let's say you need $10,000, you need to borrow $10,000 or $100,000. But before you borrow that $100,000, you must have $1 million. You must have 10 times or at least 3 times assets, or 3 times of that amount you are borrowing in somewhere in your business or in your asset or you must possess. You must have $300,000 for you to borrow $100,000. But in my case, I think you must have $1 million in your business before you borrow $100,000. So if you want to borrow $10,000, make sure that you have $100,000 property or $100,000 asset, or you have $100,000 business somewhere. You must have something that is at least 3, 5, or 10 times bigger than what you are borrowing. So if you are borrowing something that is just 10 times the value of what you already possess, then it's not a danger for you. So that if you cannot return that 10% of what you have borrowed, then you can always sell or take from the 100% you have to give to the person. That is when borrowing makes sense. But that money still must not be used to buy liabilities. It must be used to buy assets that will still generate more money for the person that you are taking the money from and for yourself as well. That is when it makes sense. But when you are borrowing to do party or to go buy a house or buy a car that are liabilities, that's you just putting yourself in trouble. But you don't just put yourself in trouble; you put the person you borrow the money from in trouble as well. The person who lent you the money, you put him in trouble as well because he wanted to be good to you. No, so in my book, Money Won't Make You Rich, if you have read the book, you will discover that I said never borrow anybody, never lend money to anybody, never lend money unless you are a bank or unless you are lending money on the condition that I spoke to you about, on the condition that I spoke to you about. If you are not lending money like that for good purpose, you are not a bank. Don't lend money to anybody. So that's what Money Won't Make You Rich. If you don't have, you can get it on Amazon. It's one of the greatest books I think there is on money. Zig Ziglar's partner said this book contains in every page what some old books don't contain in the 200 pages book. That every page of this book contains more truth about money than whole books in America. So anyway, sometimes we don't just spend money that we don't have, but we spend other people's money because we go and borrow from friends, from neighbors, and then we put ourselves in trouble and put other people in trouble as well. So next point, number 8. Well, it is tragic enough to borrow money from neighbors and relatives and friends, but do you know some people will go to the extent of borrowing money from the bank? Some people go and take loan, and the loan now is becoming very popular. How do we take loan? We take loan different. We go and take loan, and spend that money that we don't have. And when you take loan in the bank, you are in trouble because you have to pay the money back. And for you not to become a criminal, you don't want to go to prison, so you have to go and sell your freedom. You have to go and sell yourself into working from morning till night. So you don't see your children, you don't see your family, you don't see your husband, you don't see your wife. You are just working like a slave. You are becoming a modern day slave. The modern day slavery right now is not in chains, it's in debt. And the reason why we go into debt is because we want to spend the money that we don't have. Because we want to buy things that we don't need or impress people that you don't really care. Why, you ask yourself, why do you really need to have that house right now? Maybe you can just live in an apartment right now. Like I said, in my book, I said it and I believe so. You don't have the right to live in a house if you don't have at least 3 to 5 times of that value of that house, resting. If you are not worth, let's say your house is going to cost $100,000. If you are not worth $300,000, you don't have the right to live in a house of $100,000. The rich people don't live like that. The rich people only buy a house that is just a fraction of their worth. So if a rich person is living, like for example, I have a friend of mine now, great guy, he's my partner in business, and he's just building a house, and his house is going to cost roughly, with furniture and everything, it's going to be about $20 million US. Can you imagine somebody building a house for $20 million US? That it's not even 1% of what he's making. It's not even 1% of what he's making. But we, people like us, who don't even have, oh my God. Ordinary people, you don't even worth $1 million US, but you want to live in a house of $2 million, or you are not even worth $100,000, but you want to live in a house of $50,000 or $150,000. How come? You've not made the money. You've not made that money. You can only live in a house that is worth only not more than 10%. Maybe maximum 30% of your net worth. If your net worth is not more than that, the value of that house, you have business living in that house. Go use it as an asset. Go use it as a business. Go rent it out. Go take more money on it. That is another strategy. You can go and take mortgage on that money. Withdraw if you have bought it, then you are using it as a business, but don't live inside. Or if you are going to live inside, then take money. If the house is costing 100,000, go and withdraw 80,000. If you are living inside, okay, you can live inside But go and withdraw 80,000 from the bank, so that 80,000, then you go and put it in some investment, in some business, so that when you are living in the house is working. The money you have taken out is working for you. So that money is, compensating for what you are living there for. So you are living there. The money, 80% of the money, $80,000 of the 100,000 is working for you, but you are paying the percentage every month for mortgage. But you are not just paying mortgage from your salary, you are paying mortgage from what money you are making from that business that is aside. So you are using that money. Maybe I'm talking too fast. You can only live in a house if, number one, if that house is only like 10% of your net total worth. But if you don't have that money and you're already having the house, and but so some people even go and buy the house on debt in the first place. So they only put 10% or 30% down, and then they go, they're just. So that is what I'm saying. I'm trying to discourage that is totally wrong. You are living on, you are spending money that you have not made. You are living in tomorrow's house today. You have not qualified to live in that kind of house. But the way it's supposed to have been is, if you have your money, you can still buy a house like this. Then go and give that house to the bank. Let them give you 80% or 70% of the worth of the house. But for you to do that, you must have paid for the house. You have to pay for the house. So now they are giving you the worth, the 70% or 80% of the worth of that house. Let's say the worth of the house is 100,000. So they are giving you 70,000. That 70,000, you can go and put it in a business or some business that are working. So that money is making, let's say, $5,000 or $10,000 for you every month. So from that $10,000 that is making for you every month, you are paying $2,000 to the bank for the mortgage for the house. So that way, that you are not living on your liability. You are not living in debt. You are not living on the money that you have not made. You have already made the money for the house. You are living the money, you are enjoying it. The money from that house is working for you. From the little, let's say the money is making for you $5,000 a month. From that $5,000, you are paying for your mortgage to the bank about $2,000 or $3,000. Then the rest of the money, you are using it to start another business or to grow the business you already have. That is common sense. That is when it makes sense to take mortgage or to live in a house. Otherwise, you can only live in a house that either you know that it is nothing, is nothing compared to your net worth. Then that is wisdom. That is wisdom. So, but when you are living in a house that you have not made the money to live in, that is so sad. That is so sad, because then you are selling yourself to begin to work all your life, day and night, to just pay the mortgage. And it will take you 20 years. Some mortgage could go to 20 years. Some mortgage could go to 30 years. So can you imagine 30 years you cannot obey God? So if God comes to you today and say, I want you to go to America as a missionary, or to go to Europe as a missionary, or to Africa, like I'm going now to Africa with 200 people from here, and I'm looking for 2,000 other people to go with me. You cannot go. Even if God tells you to go do it, you cannot do it. And you'll be saying God should provide. God will not provide. He gave you a head. Already use your head to provide. So you will not be able to obey God. You will not be able to please God. Why? Because you have sold your freedom. You have already sold yourself into slavery of paying debt and paying credit. So, by the way, let me use the opportunity to talk about my mission. I have a program right now that is called Nigerian Transformation. So Nigerian Transformation is about me going back to Africa after living here for 30 years. I'm going back to Africa, and I want to invite everybody that has a burden to go back to Africa with me. You need to write to me at Nigeria at Sunday Adelaja Foundation. Nigeria at SundayAdelajaFoundation.com. SundayAdelajaFoundation.com. Or you could write to me directly to pastor@godembassy.org. pastor@godembassy.org. But a lot of people will not be able to do what God tells them to do. Not because they don't love God, not because they don't want to please God, but they have sold their freedom. Because if they go, police will just put them on Interpol. They will be looking for them everywhere because they have not paid for their mortgage, they have not paid for their insurance, they have not paid for this and that. Just because they have lived, they have spent the money that they have not made. They have spent the money that they have not made. They have spent the money that they have not made. It's so sad. It's so sad. But that's the kind of life that we're living in. So, by the way, some people are writing to me. They are writing in the comments that they have money, they have savings, but they don't know how to do investment, what kind of investment to do, and all kind of things. Those are more personal things, all right? I will still be talking about investment and things like that, but people, if you have money and you don't know where to don't write on Facebook, because you don't know who's reading what you are writing. So just write to me personally. I will give you individual personal advice about what to do with your money. If you have money, you've already saved, then you are halfway done. You are already 50% in a good place. So then we just have to help you to be able to do wise investment. That is totally different. So you need to write me, then we'll talk about that. But you don't just want to spending money that you have not made. And before you like for example, I went to a church one time in America. These people are immigrants. Most of them are from Nigeria and Africa. And the pastor was coming to me and he was really very happy for his people. He was telling me, Pastor, you can't believe it. Last year, we had 10 people bought a house. 10 people in my church bought a house. I said, wow, wonderful. How did they buy the house? You discover that they went to the bank and took loan and got mortgage. And they just pulled down 30%. So the rest of the 70%, or some of them even put down only 10%. Some of them put down 20%. Now that the market crashed, they are all in trouble. They are all in trouble because they didn't use their money to buy the house. So they have to be working morning till night. Crisis. I said, why are you rejoicing that people bought money on credit? Why are you rejoicing that people bought money on mortgage? They are spending money that they have not made. What I would have advised them to do is that 10,000, that 10% that they used to go and give to the bank, or that 20%, they are supposed to take it and go and multiply it first through some business. Let them multiply so that they could have the larger percent of the money for the house. They will pay for the house. Then after then only they take mortgage. So you have paid for your house, then only after that, then you go to the bank to take mortgage. That makes sense. But if you go to the other way, you are selling your freedom. You are going to be a slave for the rest, not maybe for the rest of your life, but at least for the next 15 to 30 years of your life. You will not be able to do the will of God. And the reason why you are here is to do the will of God in the first place. You will not be able to obey God. It's not your Lord. Your Lord at that point, from that moment, is money. Because you have to serve money. You have sold yourself to slavery. You have to serve that money until you buy yourself out of that predicament. I don't even know where am I again. Okay, the next way, of course, we all know the next way people go they spend money that they don't need. They don't have, is by credit card. But someone told me the story that because he's working at a very good place and he's getting a lot of money. The banks are opening credit cards for you. They are telling them, you can get a credit card and spend how much you want because they know that you are making good amount of money every year. So maybe you are making $200,000 or $250,000 a year. So the bank will just go and give you line of credit and give you credit card and say, buy anything you want. Even though you are not paying them, they say, no, don't worry, just put it on your credit. And the reason why banks are doing this is because banks I was just told this by the showroom case, they make up to 30% on every credit card you have. So I was saying that you have to save, the other day I was telling people you've got to save 30% of your income every month. If you cancel your credit card alone, you are saving 30% already. Maybe 27% or close to 30%. So you are even just reject the credit card. Stop using credit. Everything you are buying on credit, you are paying for the credit, for the credit, and paying 30% more on top of it. So the 30% that you are supposed to be saving for yourself to build your future, you are paying it to the credit card owner. But apart from that, that is credit card is a loan. Credit card is debt. So you see, how will you pay for it? And then you are bragging yourself in the shares and say, I have good credit history. I have good credit history. Is it better to have good credit history, or is it better to have your money in your own pocket or in the bank? You have good debit history. Good debit history is better than good credit history. You better have good debit history. Debit card is when you have your money in the bank and you also have credit card, but it's not credit, it's not loan card, it's a credit card that is debit card, they call it, which means you have money backing it up. The other one that they call credit card is when you have credit card, you spending money, but you don't have any money backing it up. It is loan. So they are going after you, and then you are saying, no, I'm paying it every month little by little. But you've sold your freedom, because since you are paying little by little, you cannot travel, you cannot go and please God, you cannot go and do the will of God. You have become a servant to that credit card. So that is another way we are spending money that we have not made. So the topic of today is that stop spending the money that you don't have to buy what you don't need, to impress those people who don't really care, to impress those who don't care. So stop spending the money you don't have to buy what you don't need, to impress those who don't care. So it's just the kind of life we are living in, and it's so sad. It's so sad. It's so sad. Where am I? Let me see. What was the next point I want to pick for you? I'm trying to follow my point here. So yes, the next thing we struggle with, and how we spend money that we have not made, is through credit card. We spend money through credit card, and we don't. And they make, especially in America, they make it look as if it's the right way to live, as if that's the best way to live, as if there's just no other way to live, because you want credit history. Why don't you have debit history? But you can still have credit history. But if you sometimes there might be exceptions. You might still want to have credit card, but you have to calculate it very well. You have to be really very careful, and you have to make sure that you have, even if you are having credit card, and you have to make sure that it has limit. Number one. Number two, you have to make sure that you have money somewhere, maybe in investments that are working for you, that if need be, you can withdraw that money and just go and cancel all that debt and release yourself from the burden of the credit card immediately, anytime. So in that case, yes, then credit card might be justifiable. It might be explainable that you have credit card, but you have much more money, like I said, 10 times more, that are working for you somewhere else. So you know that anytime you want, you can really come out and put an end to it. So let's use wisdom. Let's use wisdom. But debit card is much more better than credit card. Debit card is much more better than credit card. All right. So another way that we are using to spend money that we don't have is mortgages in our houses. Mortgage in our house, and I already explained that to you just now. It's not a bad idea, but the way the world system works. We think that the world system is thinking about you. People, for example, they are writing to you. Open this debit. Take this mortgage. You can take this. You can buy a house for yourself. Buy a house for your family. Buy a house. Everybody is telling you buy a house, but they don't tell you that. They don't give you the money to buy the house, but they tell you, oh, you can come. The bank will help you. You only need 10%. They don't tell you that for the next 10, 20, 30 years of your life, you will need to be working to get the rest of 90%. They don't explain to you the consequences. You think they are helping you? Nobody is out there to help you. They are helping themselves, because the thing if you take a loan for, let's say, 100,000, for mortgage for 100,000, you are going to pay that 100,000, and then you are going to pay percentage on top of it. Sometimes your percentage, sometimes some people even pay, more percentage over the years. By the next 30 years, you pay maybe the same 100,000 or 50,000 in percentage alone. So you are going to be paying 150,000 just because, so they are not helping you, they are helping themselves. The same thing with the credit card. They will not be proposing you the credit card that, oh, come and take credit card, oh, spend any amount you want, because they love you. It's not because they love you. They love themselves. It is themselves they love. It's because for every credit card, for every dollar you are spending on that credit card, the credit card company is making 30% on you. They are making 30% on you. Up to 30%. Maybe 20% in some cases, or 25, 27. But up to 30% they are making on you. And you think they love you? They want, oh, they will give you for free. Oh, they will make you buy things. No, nobody cares for you. Everybody is caring for themselves. That is just the way the world system works. That is just the way this world is run. So don't be surprised that you are working 20 years, 10 years, you have been struggling, working day and night, and you can't get ends meet because all your resources are going to service all this credit card, mortgage, insurance, this, insurance, that, credit card, that, phone, credit card, there, all that. That is all slavery system. It is the system of this world that Satan is using to enslave you. Don't buy to it. Don't buy to it. Don't buy to it. Set yourself free. Live in freedom. You have already said it myself. If you want to buy a house or mortgage, you take a mortgage on a house, make sure that you have the original money to buy the house. Once you buy the house, then you can take mortgage from it. Or you can take mortgage from the bank. This is another thing you could do. You can take a mortgage from the bank if you don't have, maybe you don't have liquidity, because don't have money is different from you don't have liquidity. Let's say, for example, I have $100,000, or $1 million in other businesses, and I don't want to withdraw that $1 million that are working in other businesses. Then I can go to the bank and say, okay, look, I have assets to the worth of $1 million here. So now, please, on the basis of my asset, that is $1 million, give me a credit for this house, or give me a mortgage for this house for $100,000 or $200,000. So now then that is totally different. It's not that I don't have the money. I have the money busy. Because the money is busy somewhere, that is why I am taking mortgage to use bank's money to buy the house. But it is different from people who are using the money they don't have. So it is totally different here, because you have the money somewhere else. And then in that case, it is wise. It is wise because you don't need to use your own money. It is wise but you have your own money somewhere else. Then on the basis of your own money, that is a backup for you. Then you can use the bank's money to now do other things that you need to do. But when you are just having salary, or the only thing you have is the credit from the bank and the salary that they are going to give you, it means you are selling your future. You are mortgaging your future. You are mortgaging your tomorrow. And it's not wise. It's not wise. Well, I thought I was going to be able to finish this topic today, but I have to continue tomorrow morning. 9:30 Ukraine time. That's 7:30 British time, 7:30 Nigerian time, 8:30 European time, and 2:30 a.m. America Eastern time. Well, what are people writing here? Let's see what people are writing. Like I said, I like to, I'm getting the people who are threatening me and want to kill me and all that, don't want to tell me to stop telling you the truth that I'm telling you. They have the time to write me. That's why I'm always asking you people who are getting blessed to also have the time, take the time to write me. I mean, at least right now, write what you think about this teaching. Do you think it's helping you? Do you think it's giving you deliverance? Give me some encouragement. Let me know that I'm not working in vain, that some people are appreciating what I'm doing. So write me something. And while we do that, I also want to challenge all of us to go share the link. Go share the link of this message with your friends. If you have not shared the link, please go ahead and to your timeline and share the link while I'm going to be reading what people are writing here for me. Layo Shao says, once again, we are satiated. Thanks for this night again, sir. Okay, gift. Is that Abimbola is replying gift? Okay. Volker said the whole body of Christ needs to hear this message. Well, I pray so. Can I have your numbers? Somebody is saying, no, I will not give you my number immediately. Let me first of all give you my email. And my email is pastor@godembassy.org. Pastor@godembassy.org. That is my email. Then if you write me what you need, and then I see that I need to talk to you, then I will get in touch with you. All right. What are people writing? Let's see what people are writing here. Like I said, I want to know if this is blessing is blessing you or not. Martha Gaziz says, most important thing is to be free to do God's work. Yes. Abby Coach says, very inspiring and informative. Thank you, sir. Yetunde says, credit card is fashion for some people. Well, deadly fashion right there. Deadly fashion. Deadly fashion. What are they writing here? Kate says, thank God I don't have a credit card. I never will. Maybe you will need it if you have some, assets somewhere to back it up. Abimbola said, well said, sir. All right. What is here today saying? Put all your credit cards in a bowl of water and lock it up in the deep freezer. You can still help yourself now. It's better late than never. That is a very practical advice. I don't know if that's the way to go. Lion is asking everybody to send out a tweet. This is the tweet. Lion says, please guys, tweet this for everyone. Good debit history is better than good credit history. Very good. Let's all go and tweet it. Good debit history is better than good credit history. That is so well said. That's so well said. Natalia Valentinova says, you even can't rent an apartment without a credit history. No, yes, you cannot rent it without a credit history if you don't have money, if you don't have debit, if you don't have cash. But if you have your cash and if you have your debit and you have your money, then you can do it. Esther Kuganja says, good debit history instead of good credit history. Yes. If you have good debit history, you rent any apartment and even buy any apartment. Bimbo Oye said, how do we pay for products on sites like Amazon without credit? You will still use credit card. I'm saying credit card without loan on top of it, without borrowing. You can still use credit card. Credit card is not the problem, but credit card that has money that is backing it up. That's the difference. So you have money in your account. When you especially if you have money in your account and you are using credit card, that is no problem. That is called debit card. That is it's back up with money. The problem is when it's not back up with money and it's bank that is giving you the money, you see. That is where the problem is. Use debit card. You can still use card to buy anything you want on Amazon or anywhere. Teresa Moore says, Pastor, most Christians are born not because of Satan. That is well said. That is so well said. Most Christians are born not because of Satan, but because of worldliness, fake life, and ignorance. You are so correct. You need to tell that to the pastors. There are a lot of pastors now that are running about the city doing deliverance. Deliverance this, deliverance that. Enemy, Satan fall down and die, or enemy fall down and die. Rubbish, some rubbish stuff. Some rubbish stuff. Instead of them, the Bible says you shall know the truth and the truth shall set you free. Instead of them to teach people the truth and set people free through the power of the truth, they are going to cast demons out where demon is not even having anything to do with it. Demon doesn't even come there near. Demon does not even have any relationship. Satan is innocent. But we make Satan to be blamed for everything. I'm so sorry. This is ignorance par excellence. By the way, I need people, who know, if you are a good writer, I need some good writers to help me transcribe some of these things to book. So if you are a good writer, you might want to write me at pastor at godembassy.org. Okay. So, and of course, if you want to come to Nigeria with me also, please, you need to write. Gift says, if you have cash, they won't say no to you if you want to buy a house or any other thing. That's true. Abimbola Olowo says, if you don't have a good credit history, how do you borrow? No, we already answered that question. Melody says, so true. Thanks, sir. Most of us brag on good credit history. It's good to know the value of debit card. Yes. Frank Kamangu says credit cards are good as long as you are financially responsible. Living in the US, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly the story they tell you. That's the story they tell you. It's good. Credit card is good if you know how to manage it. But I'm saying, what about if you want to please God? What about if you need to go and just obey God tomorrow? That is the problem. It's not about being able to manage it. You are still managing it. That means you are tied down to be working for money. That is the problem with credit card. But if you have a lot of money somewhere and then you have more assets or more cash that is working for you, then you might want credit card might be good. But debit card is better. Debit card is better. Okay. What is that? Abimbola Olowo say gift. So okay, he's talking to gift. Remy says even believers and worse still ministers of God want to impress people who did not call or send them into the ministry by going into debt in every form to impress people around without doing anything. Yes, that happens all the time, and it's so sad. Without doing anything about their personal growth. I mean, some churches, a lot of churches do that. They go into debt, they spend money they don't have, and make the church members to pay for it. And the poor church members think they are supporting church projects or pastors. Your growth is the only key that will sustain your tomorrow, and not people you want to entice. That is so true. Tommy Lola says, people giving testimonies, they bought a house, they mortgaged. Testimony that they have sold their future. Testimony that they have mortgaged their destiny. Okay, Ladis Shorunke is here. He's the one who told me about the credit card, some of the credit card things. Praise God, we have not used credit card for 18 years now. And 18 years in America, Ladi Shorung, this man is a doctor that is writing this and is living in America. He said for the last 18 years, I think they've been living in America for like 30 years or so, or more than 30 years. And for the last 18 years, he's not been using credit card. He used to have a lot of credit cards, and he's the one that was talking about that was having credit card with no limit. He can spend any amount of money he wants on credit card because he's a doctor. He has a lot of money. He's having big salary. But for 18 years now, he had to cancel all of them because credit card showed him pepe. Credit card showed the bad side of the credit card. So he's now using only debit card. Abimbola says, what if you don't have money for the house, for example, a house of £300, how many have that in the bank account? Listen to this thing I've said already. Listen to my message. These messages you are listening to now, you need to listen to them 3, 4, 5 times before you understand what I say. You think you are understanding me, but you need to listen many more times before you really understand. Odion Davis, a pastor, please, if you can extend your message to Nigeria. Our people in Nigeria needs this message. That's why I want to go to Nigeria, by the way. I want to, not just this message. I have so many messages. And if you go to my YouTube, Sunday Adelaja Official, you see many more messages. YouTube in general. And then you go to my blog as well, SundayAdelajaBlog.com. You'll be able to see a lot of my messages. I need to go to Nigeria, and that's why I'm taking 200 people from here and 2,000 people from all over the world. Nigeria is in trouble. Not only this Nigeria needs too many things that I know that I can help them. So that's why I'm moving back to Nigeria finally. I must go and cause a revolution and bring about transformation of that country. That's my destiny. Everything that I've done now is just a preparation for Nigeria. I am very determined. I am very focused about bringing about a difference in Nigeria. So the people who are writing me, I hope they are not writing from Nigeria, that they want to stop me, that I should stop talking about this thing. They will be disappointed. Because when I come to Nigeria, that's when the whole thing will begin. All this thing I'm doing now is just child's play compared to what will happen when I get to Nigeria. So if you want to stop me or kill me, make they walk right now. Get busy, because I'm coming. Even Satan will not be able to stop me from coming and from changing Nigeria. We are going to change Nigeria in the name of Jesus. Satan cannot even stop it in Jesus' name. Well, I think my time is up already today. I think my time is up. No, let's see what Layo Charles is saying. Layo says, yes, this particular set of messages are getting so deep and deep and deep. We really have to go back to listen to them. Was thinking about it as I listened tonight. Shegun Lawal say, man of God, thank God for your life. Don't be afraid about anybody threatening you. You're already making a group of millionaires already by saying nothing but the truth. Thank you. Let me see what Obi is saying. Obi Ojimadu, that's my friend, my brother here, one of our pastors in Alcoff. Thank you. That's the husband of my best lady, by the way. Thank you, Pastor. This is a battle for independence. I just sense that he will be writing something very sensible. This is a fight and battle for... It's a battle for independence. Independence of the mind. You are arming us for the struggle. We must put these teachings to practice. I hope so. I really pray so. I think we all need to do that. Well, my time is up. I will be back tomorrow morning. Invite your friends and go share the link. And have a wonderful night rest. All right. If you have not gone to Amazon to get the book on Nigeria, please go get it. And if you feel that God is leading you to go with me to Nigeria, please write to me, pastor@godembassy.org. And then if you have not bought this book, this one will prepare you for all the other books that are coming. And if you are the one that has the gift to write and you have evidence that you are a good writer, you must prove that to me. Then you should write me as well. pastor@godembassy.org. And we'll be able to make some of this book into books. And some of these my teachings into book. I think the world will need the book as well. So thank you so much. Good night, everyone. Have a good laughter like me. Enjoy your laughter. Enjoy your sleep. People really made me laugh today. That is exciting. Have a wonderful night rest, everyone. Bye.